Today, we're tackling something that, honestly, is a total game changer. We're talking about why a slow start, that agonizing phase where nothing seems to be working, is actually your hidden advantage. If you've ever felt totally stuck at the starting line, you are exactly where you need to be. We're going to look at why that slow start is not some neon wrong way sign, but actually the rock-solid foundation of your future.
Look, we've all been there. You're putting in the hours, doing literally everything right, but crickets. Zero success in sight. It drives you crazy, doesn't it? But here's a massive reality check. It's not failure that kills our dreams, it's impatience. Way too often we look at a slow start, panic, and pull the plug right before the magic happens.
Which brings us to Section 1, the 18-month learning curve.
I want to take you back to a real story from 1985. Imagine jumping into a brand new career selling insurance and investments. You're hustling. 6 months go by, absolutely no sales. A full year passes, still zero, nada. It wasn't until month 18 that the very first breakthrough happened. Imagine going a year and a half with absolutely zero wins. Most of us would look at that and say, well, obviously this isn't working. But the real trick is realizing you just haven't figured it out yet. A slow start doesn't mean the recipe is broken, it just means the cake is still in the oven.
And that brings up a really crucial concept, the gap in acquisition. When you're staring at a lack of results, it doesn't mean you're unqualified or that success is reserved for some lucky elite. No, it's just a gap. You're literally just in the process of acquiring the skills you need. It is simply evidence that you haven't figured it out yet. Honestly, that one tiny word, yet, changes the entire game. You just haven't become the person who wins yet.
Moving right along to part 2, trajectory over speed.
Listen, where you're headed is infinitely more important than how fast you're going. Think about a space launch. The countdown hits 0, the engines roar, but for those first few agonizing minutes, it is painfully, incredibly slow. The rocket barely looks like it's moving. But that initial, sluggish trajectory, that's the exact arc determining if it reaches orbit. Trajectory matters so much more than speed. As long as you are inching forward, you're on the right path.
Just look at how the compound effect works here on this chart. It's like doubling a penny every single day, or watching interest in a savings account. For what feels like forever, the line just flatlines. You're looking at your progress thinking, is this a joke? Nothing is happening. But, and this is absolutely key, you have to keep making those daily deposits. Because eventually, that flat line hits a tipping point, and boom, growth just explodes upward almost overnight. You gotta trust the trajectory, not the short-term timeline.
So how do we actually survive that brutal flatline phase? One word: iteration. Think of this slow start as your own invisible mental gym. Iteration is just tweaking the recipe after every taste test. A failed attempt isn't some final verdict on your potential. It's just data, it's feedback. Every single rep makes you stronger on the inside. Even if you can't flex that muscle yet, just keep tweaking and keep showing up.
All right, part 3. This is one of my personal favorites, the crockpot mindset. We live in a world obsessed with instant everything, right? Instant coffee, instant messaging, instant delivery, so naturally we expect instant success. But think about the difference between a microwave and a slow cooker. The microwave mentality wants it now. It gets you fast results, sure, but absolutely zero roots. A microwave just heats things up, a crockpot actually develops the flavor. The crockpot mindset is all about that slow simmer. That is where real transformation happens. If you hit the jackpot on day 1, you'd get all the rewards way before you had the internal character to actually sustain them, and that is a guaranteed recipe for disaster.
While you're simmering, you're going to hit something called latency. Basically, latency is that frustrating lag time between putting in the effort and actually seeing a result. Have you ever felt like you're stumbling forward in a pitch-black tunnel, totally unable to see the light? That's latency. It's the distance you have to walk in the dark. But here's the thing to remember. A tunnel is a passage, not a dead end. The light is there, I promise. You just can't see it from where you're standing yet. Your only way out is straight through.
Which sets us up perfectly for Section 4, the law of the farm.
The law of the farm is pretty straightforward. You reap what you sow. But, and this is the kicker, you reap later than you sow. Think about a seed. Before it ever pushes a tiny green sprout above ground, it is desperately growing these deep, invisible roots downward. The hidden work always precedes the visible harvest. The problem is, so many of us are out here trying to pick apples from a tree that hasn't even grown its root system yet. The dirt looks exactly the same the day you plant the seed, but underneath, everything has changed.
Let me give you a quick real-world example of this. Back in 2022, a very deliberate decision was made to publish one new YouTube video every single week for 10 straight years. Why? Not to go viral, not for fame. It was literally just about public accountability and building the skill. It was deliberate practice. Showing up consistently when absolutely nobody is paying attention, that is the secret sauce. The visible progress might look glacial, but the private mastery is stacking up every single day.
And that leads right into this incredible quote. Who you become is more important than what you earn. When you're stuck in a slow start, you're probably stressing out, thinking, man, shouldn't I be earning more by now? But honestly, this quiet phase is the greatest training ground you could ever ask for. Think about it. Would you rather learn to drive a car in chaotic rush hour traffic or in a nice empty parking lot, right? The slow start is your empty parking lot. It's where you sharpen the saw and get good before you have to get big. Treat it like a classroom.
Now, in that classroom, you are definitely going to face resistance. Count on it. But reframe that. Rejection is literally just fertilizer for your next yes. When critics push back or you face resistance, that isn't a red flag telling you to stop. It's a green light. It's confirmation you're on the right path. It builds your emotional calluses. Yeah, they hurt to build, but man, they protect you down the road. Let the critics make their noise and let your work be the signal that cuts right through it.
All right, final section. Section 5, outlasting the learning curve.
When you're deep in the grind and the numbers are just flat out ignoring you, you need something solid to hold on to. You need mental anchors. And those are promises, principles, and purpose. When daily results are shifting like sand under your feet, you have to stand firm on these three bedrocks. Remember, results are just a lag indicator. The action you take today is the lead indicator. Measure your success by how faithful you are to the process, not by how fast you get the prize. So, let's pull all this together. What do we absolutely need to take away from this explainer today? Number 1, impatience is your real enemy here, not failure. Endurance unlocks everything. Number 2, that slow start, it's a tunnel, not a tomb. Just keep walking and you will see the light. And number 3, being consistent while nobody is watching is what literally guarantees your breakthrough. You just have to make the decision, right now, to outlast your own learning curve. Don't quit before the tipping point.
But hold on a second. What if you do all this? You iterate, you simmer in the crock pot, you grow your roots, and your breakthrough just never comes. Wow, that's a pretty terrifying thought, right? Well, there are actually a few very specific reasons why some breakthroughs never arrive, and traps that can keep you permanently stuck in that dark tunnel. And in our next explainer, we're going to break down exactly what those pitfalls are and how to dodge them entirely. So hang tight, share this explainer with someone who's in the tunnel right now, and keep growing.